Hello from me, Lazarus. We continue with the next lesson. From the Lazarus IDE course. Last time we looked basic visual components. And now we will look at how to work, program, in Lazarus IDE. I open the file. Programming in the Lazarus IDE is visual. All components, buttons, menus, and more. By clicking on them and then in the form using the mouse. And they appear in the form itself. Whereby the program automatically generates the code to create them. It is very convenient and easy. For the first time encounter person with the programming environment. And for the programmer, it's also wonderfully thought out. Even when I first saw him at Delphi, I really liked it as a way of working. Then the program code is written for the actions to be performed upon the occurrence of any event. It could be the push of a button, menu selection and more. When everything is ready, the application must be compiled and then start already. In the Windows operating system, Lazarus IDE creates an executable file with an .exe extension, which starts like any other Windows program. Lazarus IDE as well. Console applications can also be created, dynamic libraries and others. But we will take a look only the creation of program/applications. My idea for absorption at work with Lazarus IDE is each component to be considered first in a specific program, and after that, to be explained theoretically and its action from his rich experience. I have found that this is the best way to study and practical mastery of the work with a new programming environment. That's why it's time to create our first program with the Lazarus IDE. By programming tradition, the first program, which is written in a new language, program or environment is, Hello World. I will comply this tradition, but I will also show it in English. In the book I have shown in Bulgarian. But now, since this course is in English, I will show it to you in English. We launch the Lazarus IDE. This window appears from Figure 1, which is well known to you. We can move the form here. We click, yes, we move it here the shape. Now, I will give brief explanations here of what we see. That in Unit 1 module, in the source editor, we see the code of the automatically created form. It is actually an instance of the form class. What is a class and an instance or object of that class? These are basic concepts in object-oriented programming. And it's a vast topic, but I'll try to explains it more simply. The classes can be imagined as a type of templates. Just wait for me to return to the PDF file. In which the properties are described of real-world objects. and an instance of a class is. When a specific object is created, or an instance of that class so called. Here are some examples to help you understand better. You have your own car. He is heir and belongs of the car class, but it is specific. Example of this class of car. Second example, you have your own home, house. It belongs to the house class, but is a specific and unique specimen. Object of this class. When adding or placing arbitrary component on the shape, the environment automatically generates the required code in Unit 1. In this case we will put a label there. This is done as follows. From the band standard, select the button, the label element. By holding the mouse over an element, a hint appears below it. A little pale yellow window, where it says the name of the element, in English, is called hint. Then we click with the left button on mouse over element, and then we click, and on the form. Here's how to do it in the project. We click here. We also click on the form. And here we see the label. If at that action hold down the shift key, it at each click will copy a new one element, in this case the label. This goes for everyone else as well. To stop the action, we need to click on the arrow cursor here. So we already have the label on the form. And we see that here is displayed in the Object Inspector window and in the form code has also been generated. Here is label 1 with class T label 1. Now we head to the bottom of Object Inspector where they can to change component properties. And in this case we go in the caption property, so that we can work with the given component. You should, if we clicked on it, here in the Object Inspector, or in the form, if you want to, the form itself, here you see the properties. Change here. If it is for the label, change here. And here already instead of label 1, we write what we want, in this case. Hello world. And press the Enter key. We see that the label is slightly to the left. We can put it so, in the middle of the form. Everything is done and we can save the project, such as from the File menu, or from here, press Save or Save As. And we see that the project will be preserved. But just a moment. That I hear. I have chosen another project. Never mind, I'll keep it in such a folder. I press Save twice. And I see that the project is saved. And now already, press the F9 key. Or here the green arrow, Run. Here we leave it as default. And press OK. And we see that our first program is ready, compiled, and displays the caption, "Hello World." So, after that we have to close executable file, resulting in this message that the process is complete. If we don't want it to appear anymore, we click here, on this window, and the project is returned to us again, in which we worked. We can change again. We can run this program like any other program in Windows by double-clicking left mouse button on it. The executable is located in the directory where we saved the project, and it is called project_1_hello_world. The executable file is quite large, almost 24 MB. But that is because it is included in it, and service information needed for debugging. And debugging is a process which follows the program step by step, and serves to debug it, and is done through a special program called debugger. But we won't delve into it now. In this, just look where I saved the project. This is where I wrote it down. This is our project file 1. We can see that it starts like any other program, and it is quite large. But then, in the next lessons, I will show in the settings how to change this and make the file smaller. This is from me.